On today's episode of Titus and Tate, Indiana basketball is once again dead, Tate. Tyra,
I thought you were going to say back. I know that's how it starts.
Once again dead, and Tyra Buss's fiance is holding on. Brad Davison, who is engaged to Tyra Buss. I don't know if they talked about that at all during the broadcast, but is in fact engaged to be married to the we got an interview with Tyra Buss. It's a 1-point game with 7 minutes to play. And ESPN was like, let's go.
Let's go now.
Now's the time. Now.
But I will say, as I was watching this game, I was getting so upset at them showing her. And my, I was shocked. I was like, how can you be a Hoosier, yet you have a W on your shirt?
Here's another question that I need you to answer for me. How can Indiana win the race to 69 and then lose the game by letting Wisconsin go on an 8-0 run?
Well,
to close it out.
When you have two guys who should make open shots and they brick the side of the backboard, the race to 69 is thrown out. You know
Indiana
what I mean?
basketball is dead. Flush it down the toilet. Call Brad Stevens. See what the hell he's up to. He's not coaching right.
Just find someone that can hit an open shot.
Oh, my God. Also, Providence's luck has appeared to run out, Tate. The Dunkin' Donuts Center was bonkers tonight. Villanova came in. A Villanova team that I admittedly do not love. I've said on this program many times I don't love them.
But it was a top 10 tilt.
But it was a top 10 tilt.
So you were excited about that.
But Villanova, tip of the cap, handed it to Providence tonight. And we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Tennessee smoked Kentucky. A little bit of a surprise.
Doesn't count, though, because Ty Washington did not play. Had another injury. So, as we know, doesn't count. Doesn't count. It does count for Tennessee, but does not count for Kentucky.
Kentucky is undefeated.
Yes.
If you don't count the games that Ty
very similar to Baylor, undefeated at 100%.
Duke had a couple of scares. There was Coach K not coming out in the second half because of an illness. That was a weird moment that it seems to be rectified-ish. I believe. We don't know. And also, they almost blew a 19-point second-half lead against Wake Forest that they ultimately didn't blow. They won.
A lot of people were pointing to John Shire saying maybe they should have hired Tommy Amaker. You know what I mean?
We'll talk about that a little bit, too. Yeah. Also, we are coming to you live from Titletown, USA. That's what they're calling it, Tate. The Los Angeles Rams are Los Angeles Rams. You're literally
a Charger.
You're literally a Charger season ticket holder. But we pay taxes in LA. So LA. You know what?
Yeah, it's our city.
It's our Super Bowl. Football is over. So what we're going to do at the end of the show, we've done this the last few years. We've really enjoyed it. It's been a fun time. Those of you that listen to every second of every episode might find it a little repetitive.
Yeah.
But we are doing a college basketball primer for everyone that's been locked in on football season. We are going to do just like a quick crash course to get you up to speed. So if you haven't been paying any attention to college basketball, we'll tell you all you need to know.
It's still happening.
It's still happening.
Please watch.
So there you go. Loaded show coming up. But first,
Woody Durham.
All right, let's start with the Wisconsin win over Indiana because that's what we just got done watching, Tate. For the second time this season, the Indiana Hoosiers had Wisconsin on the ropes, and they let them off the hook. Dennis Green voice pounding the table. It is – I obviously was laying it on thick in the intro to say that Indiana basketball is dead, but I'm not sure how obvious that is because this is – as I was watching this unfold, and shout out to Wisconsin. We can talk about how good they – the Indiana lost this game. I don't feel like Wisconsin won this game.
Indiana was up the entire game, and it seemed like the signature win that they really needed now to make sure they were on the better side of the bubble.
They are comfortably in the tournament. They were comfortably.
They were.
They
were. And not to say losing it at home to Wisconsin is a bad thing, but
it's not.
They needed to win this.
You got to start winning some games. Yeah. And what's frustrating is that the Indiana side of it, and I promise at some point we'll talk about how good Wisconsin was and Brad and all that. What was frustrating is it's not that Indiana's losing, Tate. It's how they're losing. It's that this Indiana team looks exactly like an Archie Miller team. They have reverted back to their old ways. As the season progresses and the pressure gets turned up, and Indiana finds itself in a familiar position of being thrown into bubble discussions. In the past they've been on the wrong side. This time they're on the right side for now.
Yeah.
But it's a familiar feeling of like, shit, here it comes. Oh no, it's happening again. As all that is happening, Indiana has reverted back to their old ways of just relying on
feed Trace Jackson Davis.
Every time you catch the ball to look to Trace Jackson Davis.
Right there.
And then it like snowballs because Trace Jackson Davis is amazing. And you look at a game like tonight, you're like, yeah, no kidding. Why would they not give the ball?
30, 8 and 6.
Yeah.
Why would you not give him the ball?
Keep feeding him. So then they keep feeding him, and then every so often they swing it to Trey Galloway, and he's wide open. He's like, "What do I do? What do I do?" This he throws it.
That's about how he shot it. I mean, that's how
Dude,
it hit the backboard.
Xavier Johnson, 3 for 16 in this game. So the roster makeup of this team was supposed to be, like that was one of the concerns with Archie Miller was like, obviously you have a bunch of guys that can't shoot. It looked exactly like this Indiana team we saw tonight. But this team was supposed to be different because you have Xavier Johnson, a transfer who's supposed to be, provide some offense. 3 for 16. You have Trey Galloway.
And one of those 3 was a brick from Galloway that hit the backboard so badly that it bounced right into his hands, and then he got a layup. So, I mean...
that's true.
So
that's true.
I mean, like, one of those 3... Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Trey Galloway, this man is a coach's son from Indiana. He's 6'4" guard.
Did he not learn how to shoot?
I don't understand it, Tate. This will be infuriating for the rest of my life.
If they showed his high school tape, I'm sure he's like swishing threes and it looks perfect. I don't know what happens.
To have kids from Indiana not be able to shoot when that was literally the only thing I could do at a plus level. That's the only contribution I could ever make to a basketball team. And then to watch guys who are miles better basketball players than I am, and they can't do the one thing I can do, it makes me want to pull my hair out. And especially a guy like Trey Galloway. You're a coach. How does that make sense?
Your name is Trey. Get it, Trey.
Trey. And then Miller Kopp is a transfer, Northwestern. He's been MIA since the Syracuse game, which was like very early on in the season.
He came into this game and got an and one for Johnny Davis pretty much on the spot. Yeah. So, I mean, that was not good to see either. So, they're just...
Parker Stewart is another, like Parker Stewart is like the shooter of this team.
He might have had a worse brick than Trey Galloway.
He didn't have a terrible night in a stat like if you're a box score person, you check a box score, you'd be like, yeah, Parker Stewart, not that bad. Was he like 2 for 4, 2 for 5, something like that? So, I don't know. 8 points. It's not that terrible. But if you watch the game, Brad was in his head all night. He was shook all night. I don't know, dude. It's so that's the Indiana part of it. This was the most frustrating loss Indiana's had all season, and they're dead. And if Indiana misses the tournament, I mean, I don't know. I have to call my dad to get his take. Yeah. But I feel like IU fans are like, we don't deserve to be in the tournament. Their resume probably deserves to be in the tournament still right now, but like the vibes in Bloomington are at an all-time low. Well, all-time low this season. For the last few seasons, they're not that bad. But like
not that bad.
But for this season, this is an all-time low for the vibes out of Bloomington right
and
now.
To think where we were after, Mike Woodson is smiling, coming off the court against Purdue. They
glitching his
face. Like they had just won the national championship. To go from that moment to this, I think that's the real jarring part for Indiana fans because it did feel like it was different. When you beat Purdue, it felt like this is not the Indiana that we've seen the past 3-4 seasons.
To that point, I will say this is still, and this sounds insane because I think like everyone thinks that the expectation of Indiana basketball is that IU fans want Indiana to win national championship every single year. If IU still makes the tournament, Tate, they beat Purdue already. If they still make the tournament, it is a successful season.
Yes.
Like what they were trying to do in year one, which is like
make the
tournament and beat Purdue. That's like that's kind of it.
Yes.
So they're still not dead, but they are dead. But are they dead? Are they back? Are they dead?
It just feels like the PR of it all really got hurt tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they win this game, then we come on the show and we're like, hey, IU, not just one signature win against your rival.
Right.
Now we got 2 that we can really point to and hang our hat on and say, this is who we are, despite our record in the Big Ten, which is now below 500, which also hurts.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good.
We had a rule we were talking about before that we don't think anyone below 500 should be able to make the tournament.
The older I get,
in conference.
The older I get, the more I start to sound like my father. I'm like, how can you make the NCAA tournament if you're below 500 in your conference?
Riddle me that.
I'm like, how does that make sense? Because why you were getting fired up about, was it Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Oklahoma
and Carolina are on the same line. Oklahoma's 4-9 in the Big 12, yet they're literally next to Carolina.
Carolina's not as far back as you think in the ACC.
10-4.
Yeah, not as far back as you think.
Number 3. 3rd. We don't have to talk about it.
Shout out to Wisconsin though. This is IU was up like 20 something, or I don't know if I think it was 20 at Madison the first game they played, and IU choked it away, and Wisconsin came back. So I
and they gave some number that Wisconsin has won however many maybe in a row or 20 out of the past 22.
They own Indiana.
Something insane.
They own Indiana.
About Indiana.
Yeah, they own Indiana,
and they took kind of the mojo away from like Indiana basketball. What Wisconsin does with their team and their program. A little bit of juice came from Indiana, and they need to give it back.
That's like kind of the frustrating
thing
too. Is like the style of Wisconsin basketball in the last 20 years is Jimmy Chitwood style basketball.
Yeah, Brad Davison.
Yeah. that makes it more frustrating.
And then Brad Davison, to add insult to injury, he dates your best female player of all time and has her wearing a Wisconsin shirt in Assembly Hall. That was insane to me.
You think her?
I'm still not over it.
You thought her cheering for Wisconsin
Was egregious.
And
if I was the AD, I would have walked down there. I would have said, "Great to see you tonight," and I would have had an IU shirt, and I would have given it to her. And then I would have gone back to my seat, and I would have waited and see. And then tomorrow morning, I give her a phone call if she didn't put the shirt on, and I'm like, "What's going on here?"
They should have. Her name's like hanging all over the arena.
Are we taking it down?
They should have taken it.
Are we taking it down? We're Hoosiers for life. What would Coach Titus be doing?
Okay.
Not wearing a P on his chest.
I'm trying to think of times my dad, because this is a great point.
No way.
My dad.
No way.
This.
Coach Titus is having a Purdue shirt on.
I think
he may have worn it once. He may have worn it once.
I'm trying to think of times in my life I've seen my dad wear a Purdue.
Look, they're young lovers. I'll give them a break for now.
Yeah.
But in 10 years, no way she's wearing a W.
I think that I think it's fair play. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's fine because
it is Valentine's Day.
If she wears it to a women's IU Wisconsin women's game, like if Brad, I don't know.
If Brad goes Joanna Man.
If Brad like gets into coaching, he becomes a women's coach.
Yeah.
And then he coaches at IU. And she, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I think there's a distinction between the school and the program, Like her program is technically not the men's program, so she's like, I cheer for the other.
She's like, I didn't even like
the men's program. Yeah.
We're
better.
If that was her answer, then I'm back in Irish.
She should have said that. She should have been like, oh, the IU women are ranked like 7th in the country. The IU men suck ass.
Yeah.
I don't support these guys. I support the women. Watch the IU women.
I support winners.
Yeah, I support winners.
Like my fiance. That would be the right answer. And I would be like, hang her jersey up there.
Oh man, Johnny Davis was awesome tonight.
30 points, right?
He got superstar treatment too. How about that on the continuation? The continuation there, late.
Miller Cop.
Yeah. How about that? Does do other guys get that call in the Big Ten? I don't think so.
Brad gets that call. He has such a camaraderie with the officials that he literally made the officials review a play that looked like it was going to be Indiana ball.
That wasn't even controversial. It was so obviously Indiana ball that why are we even going to the monitor? Who in their right mind would even need to take a second look at this?
I was yelling at Brad Davison saying that this was egregious, that we were going to have to wait this long. And then it turns out he was correct, and it was Wisconsin basketball when you slowed it down. I don't know how he saw it.
It was Brad's night through and through.
Yeah.
It was Brad's night.
He likes Assembly Hall. Let's just say that, which I don't like that.
Wisconsin finished on an 8-0 run, dude.
Yeah.
8-0 run. The biggest game for IU all season. This was the biggest game because it's the game in front of them, and this is the game like you're approaching bubble territory. You have a great opportunity.
You're on the bubble now.
They're officially on the bubble. They're officially on the bubble.
I'm on the bubble. I'm not having a fun time. Let me just tell you. Bubble sucks. You don't want to be there. And somehow Oklahoma's right over here. We don't know what they're doing here.
And Syracuse is knocking on the door saying, "Why is this locked? Let me."
A lot of people are
this
saying,
"This is my house."
I like Virginia Tech. I like somehow more ACC teams are coming on the bubble. I'm like, what is happening?
You look up. There's like an ACC team that's won like 3 straight. Yeah, we're not talking enough about Clemson. Oh man. Should we move on to what was actually the game of the night?
Yeah.
Villanova, Providence. This is the biggest game. All the pre-game chatter, the pre-game buzz. A lot of boots on the ground. Big J, college basketball journalist at this game because it's in the Northeast, and all the people in their Northeast bubble that can't stay up to watch Gonzaga and Arizona. This was like their Super Bowl. This was the old Big East is back. A top 10 tilt. It's a top 10 tilt.
They love
at
that.
the dunk. Top 10 tilt. Love top 10 tilts.
Yes.
I heard many people say that this is the biggest game in Dunkin' Donuts Center history.
I think so.
I think it was.
I
think like because Providence lost doesn't take away from like what the stakes were going in, which was that Providence in the loss column. Now Providence has missed a lot of games because of COVID or what have you. Whatever.
Yeah.
These are the times we live in. So I don't know I don't know what the algorithm said, how many games ahead of Nova they were in the standings, but they were 2 games ahead in the loss column. They had 1 loss in Big East play. Villanova had 3. Providence has never won a regular season Big East title ever, which is kind of noteworthy because they were not only a founding member of the Big East, they were literally the founding member. Dave Gavitt started the whole Big East. He was the AD of Providence. So this would be a big deal. You know, I know it's not the same. It's not the old Big East, but it's the Big East.
Got old Big East vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the implication is if Providence wins tonight, they've all but secured it.
Yeah.
It's right there. Mm-hmm. It's right there for the taking. And as is tradition in the Big East Conference, anytime a team has Villanova coming in a must-win game to put the final, the final dagger into Villanova, mm-hmm. Villanova wins because that's how it works every single time. Mm-hmm. Every single time.
Literally.
Even when it doesn't, it still somehow works that way.
And we used to joke about Kansas like this in the Big 12, where it was like every single year. We even, I think one year called it the Kansas Conference because we were just like, this is their world. And that's how Villanova's been on the Big East. But this year, we saw a sliver of hope. You know what I mean? And Providence has the luck of the Irish, the luck of the Friars.
The
fortune of the Friars. I don't know what
someone said it was the Friarish. I like that. Someone tweeted us. It was like, it's the luck of the Friarish.
I like the Friarish. So the Friarish have just been cooking. You know what I mean? And it feels like anytime that the shot clock is winding down, they can take the most insane shot you've ever seen that looks like something
this is
out of Patrick Ewing's like, never do this. Have you ever shot that shot handbook? And somehow it swishes and goes in. But not tonight.
Not tonight. This was the problem. The point we were making about Auburn, as Auburn was having all those close wins, was that at a certain point you start to feel yourself a little too much, and you start to think there is like some sort of divinity at play here, and there is some sort of providence at play, which is kind of what happened tonight. There were a lot of
that was a top 10 tilt line right there.
Top 10 tilt. Top 10. A lot of late shot clock possessions where Providence is like, we're good, man. We're good. We've been here before.
Jacket.
I'm gonna just jack it.
I'm going to step to my right. I'm going to fade out. I'm going to jack it. And it's going to swish.
I mean, Al Durham, some of those shots he's hitting down the stretch, like the right-handed one over the backboard that hit the rim five times.
The ball slipped out of his hand. And then
he's left-handed. He's wrong hand over the backboard. I was like, what? It goes in, which is like obviously good, but it's almost worse because like every time one of those shots goes in, like a more insane attempt is coming.
Yeah.
And Providence has just gotten to that point because they keep winning. They keep being rewarded by, frankly, like, and I say this lovingly to Providence fans, like I don't really feel like Providence is good at anything. Like the only thing they're good at is like seizing the chaos at the end of the games and making the plays late to win games, which, obviously ultimately that matters most. You play to win the game. That's what Herm Edwards told us. So I guess that's probably all that matters.
Yeah.
But when you watch them play, you're not like, oh man, this is a great passing team. This is a great, screening team. This is a great defensive team. They're throwing every defense they can think of out there. None of them are really working.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what led to this point. And at a certain point, you come up against a good team in Villanova. And I have not been high on Villanova. Tate, I make no bones about this. This is not a secret. I do not like this Villanova team that much. They are a good basketball team. They're maybe a very good basketball team. They're just not like a Villanova. I'm sure Villanova is going to be ranked like 6th or 7th in the next AP poll. They're not that good. I still don't think they're that good. But they are a very good team. They earned it tonight, and you can tell like the demeanor of both teams. One of these teams has run this conference for years, and the other team was like kind of happy to be here. And it was like, this is kind of cool that like we sold our place out and it's bonkers and all this. And Villanova's like, this is just another Tuesday to us. Everywhere we go, this is how we get treated. We're not intimidated by this.
And Jay Wright said this was the best Providence team that he's ever faced under Ed Cooley. I'm not sure that translates to the most talented team.
It's the best record.
Yeah,
it's the best record that Providence.
It's the best, but it's not the most talented. I mean, we were talking earlier like Chris Dunn, Ben Bentel, some of those teams that they had.
Rodney Bullock team.
Yeah, some of those teams maybe more talented, but for whatever reason, this team has found some sort of cohesiveness. And they almost play the game of basketball like it's a fight. And I say that in a sense like they are just trying to survive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then somehow it gets to the end and it's like, if we got a chance, we're going to win this game. And then what was the stat? They were 9-0 in games decided by 5 points or less until this game, obviously. So
they should have let Villanova score. They lost by 5. They should have. They should have lost by 6.
Yeah, so stay 9-0, stay perfect. But
I'm sure the new stat's going to be 4 points or less.
Yeah,
they're 9-0 in games decided.
Move the goalposts and make it sound good. That's how it works in stats. But I do think that this Providence team, at a certain level tonight, they were down for the fight. They kept swinging. It was good to see. But also, Colin Gillespie. I mean, when he was awesome. If he scores 33 points, what are you going to do?
Justin Moore led.
Maybe don't let him go left and shoot every time
into a pull-up jump shot. My God. Justin Moore dominated the first half. Colin Gillespie dominated the second half.
which is the recipe for Villanova. I mean, they're a 6-man rotation, really.
The reason I want to explain further, because this is a good opportunity. If I'm going to keep saying I don't like the Villanova team after they're probably their biggest win of the season, I feel like I should probably explain myself. I just kind of don't love watching their offense, and I know I've said that to you many times, Tate, but I just like they're tough sons of bitches.
Yeah.
I will give them credit that they play good defense. They can lock up when they want to. But there's just like something about like watching Colin Gillespie back dudes down, and then Justin Moore.
Yeah, he
back
plays
dudes
like
down,
center now.
and then like double pump up and under and get fouled for an and one, and then flex at the camera, and you're like, listen, it technically works. It's like it's probably efficient. It's all of these things are probably true. I understand that I'm the outlier here. I don't like watching it. I just don't like watching.
I'm not having a good time.
I'm not having a good time watching Villanova this year, and I miss the days when Villanova was actually fun to watch, and I feel like they're just kind of they play bully ball, and I don't know. I don't like the brand of basketball. That's the concern. I'm like, they're gonna win games. I don't necessarily trust that they're gonna go deep in the tournament. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but just like the brand of basketball they're throwing out there right now, it's not aesthetically pleasing to my eyes.
Yeah.
So that's all.
It's like
That's
if you were watching a spread coach, like, a Dana Holgerson or a Mike Gundy, and all they do is run the ball in I formation for 3 yards.
Yes.
And you're like, what is happening here? Like,
And then they win the game 17-13, and they're like, how do you not like this? We won.
We're
And
winning. And you're like, I get it.
And I say this as a guy that loved Virginia basketball. Like when Virginia's rolling, I love the style of play with Bennett ball. It's just the Virginia, when they would score, when they would win games scoring 43 points, they would they were still like moving the ball and like getting good shot. Like Villanova, they have like 9 assists tonight.
9 team assists.
They're averaging.
Providence also had 9 team assists, but
Yeah.
but again, this is a lot of let's wait for the shot clock to
Yeah,
go down.
exactly. That's it. Like Villanova, when I think Villanova basketball, I think about that ball humming around and like they're driving and kicking and a bunch of playmakers and everything. And this year it's just like back dudes down, maybe draw a double and kick it out. And if you don't draw a double, then like
And it's such
doing
a
up and
short
under.
rotation of guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It does feel like it's fatiguing.
Yeah.
I think that's the
But
word.
credit to them, man. They won. It was a tough atmosphere, and they proved why they're if you are doing national title contenders, and we've had this conversation a few times about like certain conferences, like who are the true contenders in each conference. I still don't know if Nova's like actually a national title contender, but if you're making a case for a team in the Big East, it's Villanova. Villanova's the only one that even has a case, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Providence has had a great year and will continue to win games. It might still win the Big East, but you'd be hard pressed to find anyone outside the state of Rhode Island that has Providence going all the way in their bracket, right?
I think if you're Providence right now, you really just want to win the Big East regular season and make sure that you stay a top 3, top 4 seed.
Yeah.
Like, don't let it get away from you where
Yeah.
you fall into 5 range.
You're the 6, you're 6-7
Yeah.
line out of
Because that changes everything. But if
Yeah.
you can stay in the top half and kind of just try to sustain as much as you can,
yeah.
you'll be fine. No matter what happens in the Big East tournament, because last year we already saw that crazy things are going to happen with Georgetown winning last year. So I don't even care about the Big East tournament. Just win the regular season. We need that
Yeah,
to show.
we
'Cause
do.
We said this
Yes.
year Villanova was going to finish in second.
I said Xavier was going to be.
And I said Seton Hall, which, COVID card. I'm pulling my COVID card.
Okay.
But someone has to be number 1 while Villanova is number 2. And right now Providence is the team. So we're kind of pulling for Providence.
Wait, dude, I would love it with Providence. That'd be cool. I mean, especially you get these atmospheres like you had tonight.
The dunk.
The students are, but like the whole they're it feels like Auburn has seized the moment of just like we're living in this moment of like unprecedented success. And not to say that Providence isn't a great basketball program, it is, but they've literally never won the Big East, and now all of a sudden they might, and like you feel the moment in the arena and stuff. That would be cool to see that come to fruition, and not just like have everyone walk out of the arena with their heads hanging and their empty beer cans. Dude, they have tall boys. Every single student.
I don't know
Shout out to
where
every
I don't know where
student
they sell them, but I respect everything that's happening at the dunk. And also, we heard in the broadcast, Ed Cooley, according to the Big East experts, Coach of the Year, National Coach of the Year. That's what
National Coach of the Year.
That's what they were saying during the
What
broadcast.
did Tommy Lloyd get fired? What happened? Did I miss it? Did
Yeah, I
Tommy
think
Lloyd punch a student or
I
something?
think Tommy Lloyd has shown us just how bad of a coach Sean Miller is, which I think should then catapult him up to be the Coach of the Year. But Ed Cooley's in the conversation.
He's
And,
in
and it was the first time
He's in
I
the
heard that.
conversation insofar as we should say that Ed Cooley is not going to win Coach of the Year because it's going to Tommy Lloyd. Is that what you mean?
Big East Coach of the Year.
Big East Coach of the Year. Yes, Ed Cooley.
There you go.
100%.
Yeah.
National Coach of
But
the Year.
in the conversation.
In the conversation.
Because that's what everyone wants. Everyone just wants to be in the conversation. I
Yeah.
learned that in the NBA. That's how they do with the MVP. They're like DeMar DeRozan. Not going to win it. No chance. Should be in the conversation.
In the conversation. You just want to be invited to New York for the Heisman ceremony.
Exactly.
And you know you're not going to win.
Just invite me.
I just want to be invited. Yeah. That's all I want.
I'll be Manti Te'o there.
Do you have any Tennessee, Kentucky thoughts? I came into the studio tonight prepared to. We watched the game together, and I was like, man, that's going to be the marquee game. That's the one we're going to be talking about the most. There's kind of nothing else to say. I mean, Tennessee got absolutely smoked in Lexington in the first game, and they came out and kicked their ass tonight. And there was, I wouldn't say a fight, but there was a skirmish by the Kentucky bench that seemed to just like catapult Tennessee even more, and that was that. I don't know. There's nothing like Tennessee at home.
Yeah.
When I know they weren't technically a betting underdog, but they, AP rankings or whatever, they were the lower ranked team. When they are at home against a highly ranked team, it's a nightmare situation.
Yeah.
With that defense,
they're built for that.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They want to get dirty. John Fulkerson is the definition of a firecracker, and I don't think he started that little skirmish. But I don't think he was, okay to, just get up and get out of there. You know what I mean? Like he falls into the Kentucky bench. He's kind of just hanging around there, lingering. Then there's some contact. There's a little bit of a scuffle. And then he honestly was so good in this game because he pulled Sheboy out and said, I'm going to beat you with speed and quickness, which is the one thing that Oscar does not want to do. So it was kind of in the words of Andy Katz, a little bit of a bad matchup there.
Mm-hmm.
And those three guards that they have, Tennessee, I learned this when they played Carolina. Those three guys, Kennedy Chandler, obviously 5-star freshman, Vescovi and Ziegler, those three, it's hard. You're hard-pressed to find three guards that can play and handle a game, handle the pace of a game, do the little things.
They all play well together, too.
Yes.
They all complement each other.
They're
really
complementary
well.
guards. Yeah. I like what they have there, and they're going to be a tough out in March because of those guards.
Yeah.
And Fulkerson could probably lose.
Defense and guards, that's the formula.
Yeah.
They got them both.
Yeah.
They got them both.
And I like Rick Barnes as a coach.
Is that like a bad I like you?
Yeah.
Okay. And I like
the guy.
And I like Rick Barnes. Should we do King of the Mountain?
Yes.
Should we do our King of the Mountain picks? King of the Mountain presented by Coors Light. Coors Light is the one I choose when I need to unwind. So when you want to hit reset, reach for the beer that's made to chill. Get Coors Light and the new look delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/T_T. Please celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. I will let you go first. Who is your pick for the Coors Light King of the Mountain this week?
Mine's pretty easy. Last week, obviously, it was Coach K. Had to set the record straight.
Oh, no.
Make people understand that he is the King of the Mountain.
Is he going back to back?
I won't do that.
Oh.
We're going to turn the page. But my King of the Mountain is the actual guy in college basketball. I know Mark Few, we talked about, he's kind of become the new K. We go to him for guidance. But I think the real guy, because we got the East Coast bias, it's Jay Wright, the coach of the Villanova Wildcats. Obviously a two-time national champion. And in this game tonight, and what Villanova's been able to do throughout the Big East is just sun these other teams in the Big East, get you excited, make you buy in. The only team that really has their number is Shaka and Marquette. Obviously, they beat them twice. But everybody else in the Big East, when Jay Wright and Villanova comes to town, they talk themselves into it. They're not that good this year. We got to get this upset. We can finally knock these guys off. And Jay Wright just goes about his business, does what needs to be done, looks good in the sweatsuit, and continues to be the king of the Big East and the king of the Mountain.
Are we done with the Jay Wright suits?
I think so.
That's it?
I think.
Where are those suits? We need an investigate. That's a Dana O'Neill piece.
Yes.
That's 100% a Dana O'Neill article. Dana, get on that. What are we doing? We need Dana
We need
on
Tom Rinaldi in the closet with Jay Wright, and he says, in a word, why?
In a word. What have you done?
Jay's like, it saved me 20 minutes.
He runs his finger over his suit, and it's just dusty, and he's just like, Jay, what have you done? What have you done to these suits?
Who would have thought?
Is Jay Wright someone posed this question to me because the Super Bowl's over, Tate. It's now college basketball season. So I had a friend ask me, where are we at with college basketball? Like who's the best coach right now? Because I know Kay's on his way out and Roy retired, and like I'm trying to make sense of the landscape. Who's like the best coach in college basketball right this second? And I was thinking, because like you have your obvious answers. Yeah, for some people it's Tony Bennett and Jay Wright are like the first two names, or like maybe you're the Scott Drew, Mark Few variety, whatever it is. Tom is, Bill. So there's a ton to choose from, but it did kind of hit me that I was like, man, there's no like, I wonder who the top guy is that's like the infallible, I guess. Like the guy that like you almost feel weird. Like if you and I were to sit down, we were to criticize his decisions, I'd be doing it like hesitantly because I'd be like, I'm sure there was something I didn't see because this guy's a genius and I'm not. Is it Jay Wright? Is Jay Wright the answer? Where are we at? Like right this second, where it's like this guy can do no wrong.
The only
Because you need like the combination of like built up resume,
yeah.
but also in this moment right now, you're killing it.
Mm-hmm.
So like that disqualifies Tony because like Virginia's not that good, you know.
Yeah.
Tony's still my guy. I still ride with Tony, but like right now, he's not the answer.
Yeah.
Mark Few's never won a national title, so you're concerned about that.
I was gonna say Mark Few.
Scott Drew's a little recency bias.
Yeah,
you know?
Scott Drew's not the answer. Unfortunately for Scott Drew, Mark Few's the right answer, but he's also with Tommy Lloyd leaving and just building a program just like that.
Tommy Lloyd and Mark Few were Brady and Belichick, and
if Tommy Lloyd was there and we never knew what Tommy Lloyd could do, I think the answer would be Mark Few. And I also think that like Walker Kessler would be at Gonzaga right now, and I think that team
with Drew Timme and
Chet Holmgren, and I think we'd have three. You know the picture of John Henson and Giannis when they're like stretched. That would be the picture that we have in Gonzaga right now. And so in that sense, like I think the person that would be infallible that it would be Mark Few in that situation. But now that he's not there, it's like Jay Wright, I guess, is that guy. But Jay Wright had so many detractors beforehand. It's hard to get people to really change their mind on him because a lot of people still see, well, 4 out. He runs a little bit of a gimmicky system. Yeah. It's based on shooting. That all that crap still comes up with him, even despite the recent success. So I don't think there is an answer.
You know what I told him though? You know what my answer was?
Coach K.
No, close. Rick Pitino. And he did the same thing you did. He's
That's the right coach.
I was like, I'm not joking.
I love Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino.
We joked. We were talking. We were talking what?
Rick Pitino for Coach of the Year.
What was this like?
Just put him in the conversation. That's all I'm saying.
It's like a week ago we were talking, and we were just saying like who is like actually the best coach ever in basketball. We're taking away all the sidebars, all the is he a good guy, all that stuff. Just like basketball coach.
Yeah.
And you and I were talking, and it's like probably the right answers, and it would be wrong morally, but it's like Larry Brown, Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino is the answer.
Yeah,
I think the answer is Rick Pitino, and we can save this for another show. But I like if you're talking in terms of the pure coaching, not the recruiting, not the
exactly
politicking, not
take all the other stuff.
Just
out.
hand every. It's like Top Chef or one of those baking shows where we all have the same ingredient. You run to the grocery and you have to just like pile ingredients in your basket and go, and you're just stuck. And you're like, what ingredients do I have? And you try to make something. Rick Pitino would kill that. He would finish first in that competition every single year. Now there's more to coaching than just that. You have to also recruit well. You have to also not hire prostitutes for recruits. You have to also
strippers.
That's right. I'm sorry. You have to do these things that maybe Rick wasn't great at, but the rest of it, he's awesome. My King of the Mountain, a man who is
Rick
not,
Pitino,
a man who is, I didn't think had a chance at winning Coach of the Year this year, but is very quickly making his case to John Shire, who is undefeated. He was undefeated as coach.
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit
this year. So John Shire for two reasons. Number one, Coach K doesn't come out in the second half against Wake Forest tonight. Yeah. It was an illness that we're still not entirely sure about. I don't know.
John Shire said he would not talk about it anymore, but Coach was feeling better, and he stayed at Cameron and was there after the game. He watched
the game from the locker room. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's that. John Shire, you might remember, coached the first game at Wake Forest the entire game because Coach K was out with an illness. So John Shire has now swept Wake Forest. Does he get this win? Is this a Shire win or a K win?
It's a K win.
All right. Well, I'm giving it to Shire.
Give it to Shire. You should give it to Shire because, based on precedent, Pete Gaudette, should go to Shire.
Exactly. And this coming on the heels of today, the Ian Connor. Do I have the author correct?
I think
Is that who is working on the book?
I believe so.
The Coach K book is coming out that everyone, I guess, was talking about today, that there's a lot of excerpts.
The media has gotten advanced copies as these things go, and now the aggregators are reading said copy and then writing pieces.
Throwing out content every which way. Mm-hmm. And one piece of content, Tate, is this, that Coach K basically appointed John Shire, which we already knew, but what we didn't know was that Duke University wanted to hire, the powers that be at Duke wanted to hire Tommy Amaker. Tommy Amaker was heartbroken that Coach K didn't love him back, and Coach K went with John Shire. So on the same day that all of that is coming out, John Shire, then do you think they're related? Do you think, I don't know what I think. If if this was not Coach K's last season and John Shire was not appointed the next coach and was not sitting on this bench, does Coach K stay in at halftime? Like, I'm sure he's sick. I'm not saying he's not sick. I'm not saying he's faking the illness. I'm saying if he looked down his bench and John Shire wasn't there, and like Tommy Amaker was going to be the next coach, but he's not on his bench, and it's just, like I think this was an opportunity. K saw this as an opportunity to be like, we're up big. I'm just gonna, we're gonna keep giving Shire some reps here. We're gonna keep giving him some reps, and I'm just gonna stay because I don't feel well anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
It's one of those things where I think the Tommy Amaker part of it makes a lot of sense because as we've talked about on this show, there's Duke, the university, the school, and there's Coach K.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach K is separate of Duke because he is that large of a, being, so to speak. I mean, he has influence like that at that level. And with John Shire, I think this is the perfect test for K because if Tommy Amaker came, Tommy Amaker is of the ilk where he can not only challenge K, but he can also say no to K.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that John Shire cannot say no to K. And I think that I don't think that this was a planned out thing, but I think, I don't know. My dad used to do this sometimes when I was a kid. My dad was my coach, right? We're working drills, but then sometimes he would leave, and I'm still working drills. But then he's like, look down and then would see if I'm still doing all that stuff right. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like, it's like the invisible hand, it's like trying to make sure that when I'm not there and I'm remote, I still have the control.
Because it is interesting, K didn't leave.
He didn't leave.
He was sick.
And I think he liked
but he stayed in Cameron.
I think he'd like to see that he can be remote and still hover.
Did he put on the Kanye mask and go sit courtside? Did K put on the Did anybody fact check that? Do we know what K?
There's a chance. There's a chance.
Check the camera. Check the tape. The Cameron crazy. Some of them had like these, like headdresses.
They also were saying the F word tonight. By the way, the crazies were.
Johnny Davis said the F word after Wisconsin beat Indiana, and I don't know if the Big Ten's going to look into that and consider taking action, but disgusting, absolutely disgusting. The Dukies, the Cameron crazies.
They used the F word. And
the FU,
I don't know what to do about it. I mean, especially after what happened at Carolina when they said the F word. I mean, oh my God, what are we gonna do? But anyways, all that to say, the Tommy Amaker part of this is unfortunate. I think K is probably very upset that leaked. I think he's also very upset that there's a Bob Knight, kind of whatever you want to call it, falling out that's discussed in this book, and all that came.
I mean, like. So that part, the Bob Knight part of if you have no idea what we're talking about, there's a story and apparently in the book that like K and Bob Knight hate each other now, and I saw that headline. I read the article, the little write up, the excerpt, whatever, and I was like, yeah, no shit, like I
it's obvious,
like I mean, look at both of those two guys. There's no way. Like, I can't believe they were ever friendly with each other.
And I'm not sure they were.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
Well, yeah.
I think that Bob probably liked that he came from Army, so he's like, we have similar principles.
Yeah.
And then he brought him on staff in Indiana. And then I think as the 80s played out, as we all know, as Duke became more of a staple, I think that already created a little bit of a rift. And then I think over time, he broke Bob Knight's record. You know what I mean? You got to think about this. And these are prideful people. Everybody's got pride.
Yeah, Bob was like Knight was like, I'll help you, but like, I didn't know you're gonna do this.
Exactly. Yeah. He was like, I'm down.
Yeah.
He's like, but you're doing too much. Like,
yeah, what are you doing?
Calm down. Like 800 wins is me. Like that's what I do. And Kay's like, I'm going for 1,000.
Oh man. This works nicely into let's do our college basketball primer for all the football fans that have no idea where the hell we are and want to jump in, and I don't know, there are dozens of them out there. I've been
so many football fans.
So what have they missed? Hey, what college basketball primer? If you're just now tuning in, where do we start? I think we start with the story that we started with in the preseason, which is in fact Coach K retirement tour, correct?
Yeah, the Coach K farewell tour. We sold a bill of goods with this tour.
It's been a little shaky, to say the least.
It's a little bit underwhelming.
If you were around for the preseason, you're like, oh, Coach K's retired. I'll check back in mid-February and see how it's going. It's been a little rocky. We'll say not all bad.
No,
not all good.
Louisville gave a gift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's been moments where gifts have been given and the farewell tour has been, churning.
There's
along.
high point, beat Gonzaga in Vegas. Low point, grandson gets busted for the DWI with your best player and star recruit and maybe number 1 pick in the back seat. And you just kind of like say that.
Honestly, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, there's that. Duke has lost their 4 losses are Ohio State, Miami, Florida State, Virginia. None of those are horrendous, but Miami, Florida State, Virginia were all unranked.
Well, those are all
and
Q2 or worse losses, right?
dude, calm down, Buckeyes.
No, Q1. They're a Q1
Yeah.
loss, but I'm talking about the other 3 are all Q2 or worse losses.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't
No,
know
they
my
are.
Qs.
I don't know my.
I don't know my Qs.
I don't know my P's or Qs.
I'm not a Q guy. There's a lot of Q guys in college basketball media. For me, I don't like Q. I'm not a Q guy.
Yeah, you better watch out.
I don't like what Q's selling.
Yeah, they'll come after you. The Q1s will come after.
So a handful of like not bad losses, but like maybe not Duke-esque loss, not losses what we expected on this farewell tour, which is that Duke just wrecks everybody. But one team they did wreck, Tate, were the North Carolina Tar Heels in Chapel Hill.
What happened?
So that happened. That's a high point. Where does that leave us? Is Duke a national title threat, Tate, in your eyes? For the people that are tuning in now and they're like, okay, so how good is this team? Can this team win a national title? Because that's ultimately all that matters with the retirement tour, with the farewell tour. Can Coach K go out a winner? They're good enough, correct?
They are good enough to win a title, but they are also far from the favorites to win the title, which I thought at this point in the season we would be in a position where Duke is one of the 3 favorites, and I don't think they're there. I think they're top 10. They're top 10, maybe, top 8 if you want to get weird with it, but I don't think there is a surefire of a pick as I assumed they would be.
They are the analogy I've latched onto, and I'm just going to ride it out for the rest of the season probably, is that they feel like a slightly worse version, maybe not even slightly, a worse version of the 2019 team, where they have 3 stud freshmen and Bancaro and Griffin and Keels. Don't really have a real point guard. The pieces don't fit together all the way, but you just keep looking at the roster over and over, and you're like, they're so damn talented. I will never count them out. Duke could lose 6 straight games, and there's still people that'll be like, yeah, but I mean, come on, AJ Griffin, like, have you seen this kid? And, you start talking yourself into Duke all over and over and over and over again until they lose in the NCAA tournament, which is probably what's going to happen. I will say though, this supporting cast, aside the freshmen, much better than the 20. Wendell Moore, Mark Williams, Jeremy Roach is like,
he's decent.
When you're comparing him to like the Marquise Bolden and the Trey Jones and the Jack Whites of the 2019 team, the Javin Deloriers, this supporting cast is better. But the top talent, the 3 studs, aren't anywhere close to as good as the 3 studs. I guess they're kind of close, but like
And we're waiting. I mean, I think America is waiting for Bancaro to do what Zion did, which is to assert himself in every situation.
So
I think he's far from that right now.
There you go. That's the Coach K update. The media circus around it too has been a little like back and forth. Like he hasn't been. Bruce Pearl stole a lot of his shine. Bruce Pearl took the media and said, "I'm going to go ahead and
losing to Ohio State was the first moment where it was like, okay, things are not going to go all Duke this year.
So it's not dead. It's just not quite what we thought it would be, and there's still a chance they bring it back. So that's where we're at with that. What else? Another big talking point, another big thing that's happened this year. I'm talking broad picture.
Yeah, this is big picture. If you've just been watching football and you've been isolated, welcome.
We had a rough stretch with COVID there for like 6 weeks, I want to say. Omicron came in. A lot of games got canceled. A lot of games got postponed. A lot of games got moved. I believe we might be good now. I believe. I've also said that 1,000 times.
Mandate in California.
Jim, pull out a supercut of all the times I've been like, knock on wood. I think we're out of the woods.
I think you did that like in August of 2020.
I really did. But the reason I bring it up is because the Final Four, unlike last year where the entire tournament took place in one location, we have been told that the NCAA tournament is a go. It will be normal. It will all be as of right now.
Fans will be there.
Fans will be there. This will be the first Final Four, Tate, in 3 years that'll be normal.
Isn't that crazy?
And it's in New Orleans,
which is going to be even crazy.
Insane.
Yeah,
it's going to be so fun. So that's where we're at with like that. We are back to normal for the first time in 3 years in college basketball. I mean, think about that. That's insane.
It has been electric. Like we've had, like even tonight, the dunk. Like when you see that atmosphere, even Assembly Hall tonight, when you see these atmospheres, you kind of, I don't know, it just kind of re-centers you as to why we're here, why we care about college basketball. Right. And without it, we kind of felt lost.
Are you saying that this year with fans has been so much better than last year with fans? Because it's been about a month or two since we've heard the announcers.
I do like that.
A top 10 tilt.
It's a top 10 tilt.
A top 10 tilt in the dunk.
I can't believe that we didn't get to call a top 10 tilt.
I cannot wait. The next game we call. which
Yeah.
will never happen. It'll probably be at a different network than Fox because our bosses saw the tape on that one. Like,
Woo.
but the next time we do,
Where were they staying? Manhattan? What the hell?
I'm 100% introing it as a top 10 dunk.
It's 2 unranked teams.
Moving on. Let's do some tier talk because last year, as people might remember, Tate, the overarching situation with all the teams was that Gonzaga and Baylor were in a league of their own.
Yeah.
Even those of us that if you're a casual fan or if you're someone like you and I that try to watch a lot and get our hands into the nitty-gritty of college basketball, everyone shared the same opinion, mostly everyone, which was that Gonzaga and Baylor are probably going to play in the national championship, and one of those teams is almost certainly going to win the national championship. Even if one of them loses along the way, the other's probably going to win it. It's exactly what happened. They meet, Baylor wins. What is your feeling this year? That is definitely not the case. You would agree with me? There's not like whatever the top tier is, the gap between the top and the rest is not.
No.
However many teams you're putting in the top, there's no gaps. I don't know where we're drawing the gap lines this year, which is going to make it fun. It's going to make it a fun tournament.
It's like a Jimmy Dike that is playing tonight. That's the gap. You know what I mean? Where it's like literally that line is between first class and business class, and easily if you could step up and you could walk right into first class, that's how it feels.
Here's what it is. It's when the airline started flying right after COVID, and there was technically first class, but you got no perks whatsoever.
Yeah.
So you're like, you got a bigger seat, but then they're like, we're not serving any drinks, any food, there's nothing. You just have to sit there. That's what. So like, you're in first class. You're thinking, why did I have first class? What's the point of this? The people back there.
I thought this would be way simpler than
I
it
thought
is.
like I thought like once I got upgraded, I would get like a sick life, but I don't. It's kind of similar to what.
That's Auburn right now.
That's Auburn. Yeah.
That's Auburn.
But if there are tiers, the top tier is Gonzaga. With
number one.
Who else we throwing in there? Arizona. Auburn's up there. Kentucky before tonight, I probably would have put in there, but I don't.
Kentucky, 100%. They're in the conversation. Obviously,
Kentucky didn't buy a first class ticket; they got upgraded.
Yes.
Their dad is a big shot, and their dad is a diamond member, and so
their dad owns Delta.
Their dad owns Delta, so they got upgraded, but they didn't buy the ticket. That's Kentucky. Yeah.
I think.
Who else?
I mean,
Baylor, Purdue, Duke.
No.
Kansas?
No.
Illinois?
No. I think we're going down to the next tier.
So that's it.
I think that's the
But
tier.
I do think I'm with you. But I do think the gap between that group of teams and the next tier, as we've said already, is not that.
It's thin.
It's a fluid situation.
Kentucky's
look
like
up
on the line.
Yeah.
They're literally holding the line right there.
And I think you could look up in 2 weeks and Duke is back in the top tier and Illinois is back
Absolutely.
up and
Absolutely.
Baylor's back,
Yeah. Baylor, I don't know. I like it's not their fault. Like I said, when they're 100%, I'm all in on Baylor, but I don't think they're ever going to get 100%.
So the ultimate point is this: the tournament's going to be awesome because we don't know what to expect. We did all the teams can. There's no obvious favorite. Even Gonzaga, who feels like the favorite, and I'd say Gonzaga definitely feels like the favorite. I feel like that's safe to say.
Yeah, I think so.
But
But we know that everyone, like, if you're a Super Bowl casual fan, you hear that and you say, "No way, am I buying in on Gonzaga after how I was hurt last year?"
After how I was duped last year when the team went undefeated all the way to
went all the way to the title game.
Failures.
Yeah, I know. You know how that works.
But
they really are legitimately one. They are one alone. It's not like a Baylor situation. There's not another team right there next to them.
But if you told me like Gonzaga wasn't going to make the Final Four this year, how shocked would I be? 1 to 10, probably like a 6. Yeah. I don't know. Like it's not. I would last year I would have been better. 10. Yeah. Last year I would have been 10. Gonzaga's making the Final Four.
Yeah.
What happens after that, I don't know. But they're 100% going to make the Final Four. This year it's I don't know because they're not that much better than everybody else. So who the hell knows?
Nembhard could end up being the best point guard in the country. That's like what if you're Gonzaga, that's what I think you're kind of holding on to, that we haven't seen the full form of this team, and we know that we got a guy in Nembhard who's been there on that big stage, but now he has the keys to himself. And you got Chet Holmgren, who is a bad matchup for anybody because he makes no sense. And he's also great on the defensive end. I mean, Gonzaga is interesting because they're different than they were last year.
They're better defensively this year.
And I think that they had the long play. And it's exhausting to go undefeated and have that pressure every single game that you play. They don't have that this year, so it makes me feel better about them.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know if that made any sense or provided any clarity to anybody, but on our tier talk, but there you go.
Tier 1 is 3 teams, maybe 4.
We're basically just saying last year there's a massive gap. This year there's not.
Last year, Tier 1 was 2 teams, and then have your
There
conversation.
was no Tier 2.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a private plane.
Yeah. Have your conversation. Do what you want.
Gonzaga and Baylor run a PJ. That brings us to the Blue Blood report, Tate. Speaking of last year, Blue Bloods. Awful. Maybe the worst year in Blue Blood history.
Kentucky missed the tournament. Duke missed the tournament.
Carolina
got blown out in the tournament. Wish we would have missed the tournament.
Yep.
I would have been up for that. That would have been fine.
Kansas got blown out in the tournament.
Blown out
USC.
in the tournament. Yeah.
It was not a great year for the Blue Bloods.
UCLA went to the Final Four.
Okay.
But that was
Indiana missed the tournament.
An anomaly. That was an anomaly. Villanova.
Ohio State got
These are True Bloods. Now you're talking about
Ohio
True
State got too many COVID tests positive.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
But this year, the Blue Bloods, I'm happy to report,
they're back. They're back.
Yeah, they're back.
They're all back. And Carolina is in 4th place right now amongst the Blue Bloods this season. But last year, they were 2nd. You know what I mean? It changes over time. But this year, obviously, Kentucky's won, right? National championship.
Yeah.
Feels like it's, potentially there for the taking. Kansas is number 2. They have a National Player of the Year, Ochai Agbaji.
Yep.
And they're not as great as I would like them to be. I picked them to win the championship at the start of the year. Not quite there. It's okay. Number 3, the Duke Blue Devils.
Yep.
And they potentially could be number 2. I could be convinced
They
of
could
that.
be number 1.
They could be number 1. Exactly. I could be convinced of that. And then there's
the point is Carolina is number 4.
Exactly. Yeah. So then you just take a deep sigh, and then you get to North Carolina. But again, 3rd in the ACC. They have one Q1 win for the Q1 people out there.
If you're a big Q person.
You're a Q person. But that's the Blue Blood report. Those 4 are all in the tournament, and 3 of the 4 could win the national title.
Three of the 4 are good enough to win a national title.
There you go.
Kansas, Kentucky, and Duke are good enough to win a national championship.
Yes.
North Carolina is not.
No.
But North Carolina could go to, they could win a few games in the tournament.
You know what's even sadder? I was cleaning up my wallet today, and I found my ticket 30-1 odds, North Carolina to win the national championship this year.
30-1? What is it now? Like 3,000 to 1?
Yeah, 1,000,000 to 1. I think it's 1,000,000. They just laugh at you when you go put the ticket in.
You know what's interesting though? The Blue Blood teams are back, but the Blue Blood conferences kind of
are slacking.
Like the ACC sucks.
The ACC has been a bit overblown, I think, but yeah, I mean, traditionally compared to what we've seen, I mean, it's
how many
so
bids
bad.
the ACC getting? 5, 4, 5.
Here,
6.
The ACC has Duke, Notre Dame, North Carolina, Miami, Wake Forest, Virginia.
You think Virginia's getting in?
I think so.
I'd like that. That'd be nice.
I think those are the 6.
Okay.
They all have double-digit conference
But
wins.
how many of those 6 are going to be wearing white jerseys on their first round game? 1. It's going to be Duke. Yeah.
And what's crazy to me is that Notre Dame beat Kentucky, and yet somehow whenever they do the resumes, or they never
Was it
point that
Q1?
I'm just waiting for someone to say that whenever they show, because they'll show the ACC teams and it'll be like Duke's a 2 seed or 1 seed. Then it's like 8 seed, 9 seed, 11 seed, first 4 out, first 4 in. You're like,
Yeah.
Didn't Notre Dame beat Kentucky?
Meanwhile, Big Ten.
Yeah, what's going on in the Big Ten?
Big Ten is good, not great. Again, last year I felt like the Big Ten was great going into the tournament. We saw how that ended up. This year, the Big Ten is not as good as it was last year, so who the hell knows what to expect. But, I think you can kind of see the writing on the wall there. Illinois and Purdue are the only 2 teams I think they can win a national championship out of the Big Ten.
I think so, too.
We've talked about that. We think Purdue is definitely better than Illinois, but Illinois is better suited to win a national championship.
As long as Illinois doesn't play Purdue in the tournament, they have the best chance
Yes.
to win the title.
But if they do play Purdue in the tournament,
Purdue is
now
going
has
to
the
beat.
better-
Yes, exactly. So it makes sense of that, and then you'll get it. But Illinois, I call them redacted. I picked them to win it last year, so I refuse to pick them again. But I think that they had the best shot of anyone in the Big Ten.
Big East, I'm including in the blue blood conversation of conferences.
Villanova.
And Villanova, that like we said, we were talking about Villanova. They're the only team I think that has any shot at winning a national championship, and I don't think their shot is very. I don't think they have much.
Slim shot.
I think they have a slim shot, but they're fine.
They have a Trey Galloway shot.
Yeah.
At winning the national.
The ball has
championship.
been swung to Villanova, aka Trey Galloway, and they are wide open. and we'll all see how this ends up.
And I think we all know.
They could hit it and surprise us all.
Yeah, I would love to be shocked.
That's where we're at. What about players, Tate? All-American Player of the Year picture. If you are a casual college basketball fan, you might assume that you know, as is usually the case in the sport in the one and done era, that freshmen are dominating, Tate. Certainly as it pertains to the number one pick in the NBA draft, that seems to be a three-horse race between three freshmen: Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren, Jabari Smith. It's a fluid, fluctuating situation.
Very fluid. Chet's number one right now. I got that confirmed. I said that on our show.
You got that confirmed?
And then
you talked to the NBA?
I talked to the NBA, and they have confirmed that Chet Holmgren's going number one. Thank you, NBA.
Talk to the NBA.
I just on the phone with the NBA.
But as it pertains to the All-American National Player of the Year race, Tate, I was going to say that the freshmen
not in it.
I wouldn't say don't have any chance, but like
no
the freshmen aren't in the picture.
They have no chance.
The freshmen, like Chet, like Jabari Smith has an outside, like I think Auburn had to run the table, and it had to be just like Auburn enters the NCAA tournament. Auburn closes out the regular season having won like 25 in a row or something, and Jabari, you know, like he'd have a case there. Chet's numbers continue to climb, and he's putting up some like eye-popping numbers on a game-by-game basis, but I don't think it's going to be enough, especially with Drew Timme as his teammate.
Yeah.
That muddies the waters of like which one's better and all that kind of stuff. So ultimately, Tate, the point I want to make to the people is that the freshmen are probably out because Paolo's definitely not winning National Player there. That's definitely not happening.
The update for the casual fan right here is that college basketball is not run by the one and done.
It is not.
It's run by the transfers.
It is.
It's a transfers game, and Oscar Tshiebwe is the National Player of the Year, a transfer.
Yes, Oscar Tshiebwe probably going to win. If it's not, he's a junior. If it's not him, Johnny Davis maybe of Wisconsin who balled out tonight in Assembly Hall. He's a sophomore. Jaden Ivey's a sophomore at Purdue. Keegan Murray.
It's also the year of the sophomore leap. You know, there's a lot of guys that last year.
Mathurin, sophomore leap.
Murray, Keegan Murray.
I mean,
leap. It's just like a lot of guys that you knew from last year, and you saw like glimpses of it, but this year they've just become all league type of guys.
Another big picture thing I wanted to point out about this season, Tate, is that the lottery picks, it depends on what mock draft you're looking at, but a lot of the guys that are expected to be lottery picks. This is exciting. If you're an NBA fan that wants to watch college basketball, this is a very exciting time. Even though I just said the freshmen aren't in National Player of the Year race, the lottery picks are most of them, almost all of them, are on relevant teams that are compete for national championships. Jabari Smith at Auburn, Chet Holmgren at Gonzaga, Paolo Banchero at Duke, AJ Griffin at Duke. I don't know where he's at, but like for God's sakes, put that man.
He's a first-round pick
in the first round. Jaden Ivey at Purdue. Purdue could win a national championship. Mathurin at Arizona is going to be a top 10 pick.
He's another sophomore.
They're awesome. Johnny Davis at Wisconsin. Wisconsin is very, very good. Ty Washington. Kentucky is very good. Agbaji at Kansas. Very good. So we have, sometimes like Anthony Edwards was at Georgia. They were terrible. They sucked. He's the number one pick. Sometimes those situations arise, Tate. Even, I don't know why, like, this is coming to mind, but like, Kevin Durant at Texas, his team wasn't awesome, or Michael Beasley at Kansas State, whatever, Tate, whatever.
Hope to God Kevin didn't hear that.
Texas.
I thought they were pretty good. Yeah.
Second round loss to
Nick Young, Swaggy P. Yeah.
But the stars have aligned where, like, if you're an NBA person and you want to watch these dudes that are going to be drafted very high, I have great news. They are on highly ranked teams.
Yeah, same with, you didn't even say Johnny Juzang. That's a guy that could see himself into the first round if all things go well in the tournament. So, I mean, there's a lot of names and a lot of familiar faces and a lot of talent. And luckily, in college basketball, that talent is developing again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why I feel like this year is fun, because you've seen some of these guys take that lead.
That's exactly right.
And it makes a lot of sense. Like, Keegan Murray has been amazing. And he played last year with Luka Garza, the National Player of the Year. You know what I mean?
You're exactly right. The sophomore leap, the transfers, that is, like, we've reclaimed old college basketball.
The game is changed.
When John Calipari stopped playing the one-and-done game, and I understand Ty Washington's on the roster, Shaden Sharp's on it. Like, he's still going after recruits, but he very clearly took a good, long, hard look at last season. It was a disaster for him, and he was like,
9 wins.
We gotta play the transfer game, and that's basically most of their team is guys that have transferred, and there's a reason that they're good this year. I mean, because that's what college basketball's become. So
it's assistant coaches that make $1 million.
Yes,
that are basically wink, wink, bad guys, and your job during the season is to scout every other team. and figure out where you can find that diamond in the rough to then bring them up to the big leagues and let them
Your
shine.
job is to, in the handshake line, say something very convincing, and maybe, after you play a team in your conference, and just dap them up.
Last year, Dawson Garcia from Marquette kills Carolina.
That's true. That's true.
Roy said, "Shucks, man, you gonna play here?" Yeah,
So there's that. That's a point I wanted to make. So then, here's the next thing out of my list. Reasons to watch between now and Selection Sunday. I wanted to give people because that's the other thing. If you're a football fan, maybe you're saying to yourself,
why watch?
This is all cool, but why watch now? Why don't I just tune in March? What should I watch for? Number one, National Player of the Year race. You said it's Oscar Tshiebwe's to lose. I agree with that. It's definitely Oscar Tshiebwe of Kentucky.
Tonight did not help that campaign, by the way.
Did not help the campaign.
Fulkerson had a great game.
On a night Johnny Davis was balling out, Tshiebwe, wasn't exactly awesome. I still think it's his. He's gonna have to have a few more bad games, but it'll be interesting. It's last year. I don't know. This National Player of the Year race has felt very just all over the place at all times. Oscar's kind of locked in the last like 3 or 4 weeks, and it seems like it's his to lose. But it's been all over the place.
Leads the countries in double-doubles.
There's still a lot of basketball left to be played, so there is that. The conference races, I want to point those out. Providence is going for the first Big East title ever. We're still watching that, even though they lost to Villanova tonight. They're still in first place in the Big East. They have a rematch to end the season at Villanova, so that's certainly interesting. Duke is going for its first regular season ACC title since 2010, which is unbelievable to say out loud, and I cannot believe that is true, but it is true. So
losers.
So that's something. And then Illinois is in the hunt for the Big East, or the Big East, Big Ten. They're at the top of the Big East standings, and you might remember last year, Tate, Illinois was at the top of the Big Ten standings as well. But somehow the algorithm with the win-loss situation, Michigan hung the banner. Illinois did not get a banner. So Illinois has some #unfinished business, and that's something to keep an eye on because Illinois is very, very good. Illinois will probably win the Big Ten. It is not a foregone conclusion, and there's still a ton of basketball left to be played in that regard.
And I will say, I think Illinois learned the greatest lesson when it comes to the actual tournament, which is don't blow your load in the conference tournament. Last year they should have won the.
Don't take a picture like your Kobe in a like I would assume it did, and the Big Ten do that with the national championship.
But they were it was such a hard fought journey to win the Big Ten, and they felt so disrespected by not winning the regular season, quote unquote, that when they won the tournament, it just felt like it felt like a finale.
Yeah.
And when they went to the real tournament,
it was the encore.
They got hit in the
mouth. Was season. It was like Arrested Development had its run at Fox, and then
went to Netflix.
And then went to Netflix, and that was
Illinois
tournament. They were like, wait, what?
And everyone's watching like this isn't the same team.
What happened? What happened? The other thing I was gonna say you could watch is NCAA conference bids because the ACC could get. What'd you say? You did 6?
I said 6.
Might be 5.
It's 5. It's probably 5.
Might be 4.
No, it's 5. If it's not 5, you're gonna see me go crazy.
But the West Coast Conference and the Mountain West Conference both are
4.
Potentially, as of today, probably 4 bid leagues.
I think 4,
which is awesome. And for West Coast guys like us, we love that. So there's that to keep an eye on. And also, Tate, the A10 might be a 1 bid league. It's probably a 1 bid league. Whoever wins the A10 tournament's probably getting in.
Oof.
The A10 has had multiple bids every year since 2005.
Yeah, and then we talk. I mean, Dayton is the one that you really like. When you hear that, you're just like,
they beat Kansas this year, but
I know the Flyers.
Who are the most fun teams to watch if you're a neutral fan? Most fun teams to root for, watch, just throw a game on.
I mean,
who comes to mind?
Auburn is honestly the first team that came to mind when I talk about just interesting because of Kessler. Kessler's so fascinating because the guy is getting triple doubles with blocks. The only person to ever do that before him is basically Shaq.
And he's not the best.
And he's not even
the number 1 pick.
He's not the best player on the team. Like Jabari Smith is right there. So that front court I find fascinating. Purdue is also one of my favorite.
Purdue's a ton of fun. Purdue's on my list for sure.
Yeah, they're one of my favorite teams. And obviously with Edey, he's like Yao Ming of college basketball. Don't take that, Rothstein.
He's not Yao Ming.
He's not. But
he could be.
He could be. I think those teams are like the first. Like,
Jaden Ivey's just an athletic marvel. He just like is. He's maybe the one guy in college basketball I watch the most that I think to myself. Well, Jabari Smith's up there. Chet Holmgren. Okay, I'll calm down. But Jaden's on the list of guys you watch. You're like, this man does not belong on a college basketball court.
Absolutely.
What is he doing on a college?
No, he should be in the NBA.
He should be in the NBA right now. What is going on?
He's like the speed and quickness of that kid is different. Arizona's another team.
Arizona's on the list
that I have to
young,
bring up.
fast paced.
Yeah.
Kerr Kriisa,
Well
swag
coached.
for days,
Mhm.
well coached.
Tubelis.
Tommy Lloyd is so easy to cheer for. There's a resurgence in Tucson. That's definitely a team that I would put on the list. Gonzaga's on my list as well. Up tempo. Chet Holmgren is like
Chet's the most fun of that team.
Chet's gonna make you the first like 2 or 3 games you watch. You're like, I don't
get
see
it.
I don't.
Yeah.
You're
gonna really say I don't get it.
Like it works in the WCC, but there's no way this is gonna work. And then you're gonna keep watching him, and he's gonna keep doing things that like you've never seen on a college basketball court before.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what? How is this possible?
And the good thing about Chet is that he has blended his game into Gonzaga. You know what I mean? Like he seems very much like an outlier with the way that he can impact the game, but somehow when you watch them, it feels like it fits.
They have.
And it didn't at first. It took a while.
Their starting 5 is all averaging 10+ points a game.
Love that.
They play fast. They are absolutely trucking teams. They are just rinsing that entire conference, and it's a 4-bid league. So Gonzaga is a fun team to watch. Kentucky I put on the list as well, even after tonight.
With Ty.
They're a super likable team. Oscar Tshiebwe is fun to root for, and is averaging like 15 rebounds a game. It probably dipped tonight. I don't think he had 15.
But he leads the country in double doubles. The last game he had a double double at halftime. I mean, he's.
And then the only other team I'd put on the list that we haven't said yet is if you love defense, Texas Tech.
Yeah.
The Texas Tech isn't the best defense in the country, but they're of the teams that are defensive minded. They're the team that's most fun,
especially at home.
Yeah.
If you see
watch Texas Tech.
Yeah, if you see a ranked team in the Big 12 going to Lubbock, watch that game.
Watch that game.
It'll be fun.
It'll be a ton of fun.
So. And watch any game at the dunk too. I think the dunk is a lot of fun. If you just want to
especially if it's a top 10 tilt.
It's a top 10 tilt. I don't know how you're missing it. So tune into the
What other big news and notes is there? Louisville and
Chris Mack, RIP.
Louisville and Maryland fired their coaches, but also didn't fire them because they both quit. But then there was a buyout, but like were they fired? I don't know what the language was, but it was like,
yeah, in the NFL when they tweet and it's like one coach is let go or they parted ways, but then another one's fired. I feel like those situations were parted ways instead of fired, but they really were fired. So yeah, Turgatory's over.
Yep, Maryland,
Mac era's over.
Maryland and Louisville both have interim coaches. They both will be searching for coaches for a while. So there's both that so anytime like a coach is winning a lot. We're floating their name for Maryland or Louisville.
Yeah,
that's what
Rick Pitino, Maryland or Louisville.
Yeah, I don't know.
And also, Danny, if you are an old listener to our show that's tuned out for football and come back and you're thinking to yourself, man, those guys really killed Danny Manning's career by having him on the show, and then he got fired right afterwards.
Yeah,
haters. We brought him back.
We brought him back.
He's at Maryland now. He's the interim coach.
Yeah, and he's gonna not get the Maryland job.
Well, hey.
He's going to get fired again.
He got one big win. He got one big win. Signature win.
Yeah.
And that was us.
Almost beat Purdue at Mackey Arena.
Almost beat him.
Over the weekend. So that's another big win. Hang that banner. Almost beat Purdue at Mackey
I hit
Arena.
the panic button, by the way, during
Purdue?
that game. Yeah.
For the season?
For the season. As far we're talking about title. We're talking about title. We're talking about title.
Dude, you should have led with that. That's big news.
It upsets me. I don't want it to be true. But I hit it. I firmly hit it.
Wow.
Because that game, Maryland was shorthanded. Injuries, you know what I mean? Everything.
Also Maryland.
Also, they're Maryland. Yeah, Danny Manning's coaching them. And that game, I mean, Maryland had it. I mean, they were up, 50? They got up by 15 at one point.
Yep.
And honestly, I just, that concerns me. Purdue.
That's why I put Purdue on the list of fun teams to watch, because they love playing with fire. They have the best offense in the country. They have they don't love to play defense.
Yeah.
They love playing with fire. If you're a Purdue fan, this is probably going to be the most nerve-wracking tournament yet, and that's saying something given how the 2019 tournament went. But if you're not a Purdue fan, watch a lot of Purdue basketball. It's fun. You have no idea what to expect.
Purdue for me is like the 8-9 game scares me much more than the Elite 8 game.
Oh, the second round, they're the 1 seed.
Yeah, if they're the 1 seed and they play that 8-9 game is terrifying to me.
I don't think they're going to be a 1 seed though, but 7-10 game.
Yeah.
Either way.
Whatever it is, that second round game is just like the team's going to be a lot better than I think they suspect. Right. And I mean, we saw it last year in the tournament, obviously, with North Texas, right? That beat them in the first round when they were a 3 seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Embarrassing for the Big Ten and embarrassed the entire conference by losing that game.
I know. I can't believe that.
Is that the worst loss?
I think so. Well, you guys obviously, got out because of COVID reasons. Thank God. Yeah.
Thank God. Oof. Good surprises. I this is a bullet point. Good surprises. I would classify as Auburn has been a fun surprise.
Yeah. I don't know if it's good, but it's fun.
Is it good?
Definitely fun.
I meant the team. I meant good as in like they're better than we expected.
They're better than
It's
expected.
been good. They've been a good team. They're a fun team. Just
Yeah.
Arizona is certainly on that list. of good
Absolutely.
surprises. Wisconsin's on the list. I don't think anybody saw Wisconsin being this good.
Wake Forest.
Wake Forest is on the list.
That's on the list.
Good call.
Yeah.
Uh,
Very fun team.
Uh,
Steve Forbes is the last time you heard us. He was spiking in a mask. Now he has
Yeah.
a 20-win team at Wake Forest, and they should have beat Duke tonight. But John
you see his
Shire.
quote that he said the heave at the end at the buzzer. He said something like someone asked him.
It's like an
about that.
80-foot heave, by the way.
Yeah, and he was like, he goes, it probably wouldn't have counted in here, but that's how it
Oh.
goes. Something.
the best thing that could have happened, and I said this to you.
Never
after,
mind that, like, it was like a full second after the buzzer sounded.
It definitely would not have counted, but I love that comment by Steve Forbes. And then also, if it did go in, the comedy of Duke wiping it clean. You know what I mean? Like if that type of shot went in and then they wipe it.
The comedy of you pan to the camera crazies and they're all just going like this. They're all,
Banchero was shook.
Coach K comes waddling out of the locker room.
Oh,
He's
man.
like,
That would be
yelling
great.
at the ref.
He's telling him to look.
How do we feel about this hand signal?
I hate
the
it.
review hand signal.
hate
is like
it.
a twirl your finger.
I hate it so much. Brad Davison is the king of it. It also happens in football too now. I mean, it's just like
I just don't like that as the hand signal. I don't like.
Yeah.
It's better than the flop. Like the flop going like this is.
yeah.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
This just never looks good, you know. Like no,
that says,
no one's
give me
ever-
another round. That's like you find the bartender. You're like, yeah, we'll do another one. Another round for the boys, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I.
That would be better. That'd be better use of that.
Bad surprises. Texas, not as good as we thought.
But is it a
But
surprise?
not really surprised
Yeah.
us because we're smarter than everyone else.
Yeah.
So we saw it coming.
Yeah. It's Texas. What do you expect?
Michigan probably is on that list.
Yeah.
Michigan basically boils down to their freshmen weren't awesome like we thought they'd be.
They're good.
They're
They're
good.
good.
They are good.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just not awesome. And their point guard, the transfers that they brought in to play point guard, not as good as they thought they'd be.
Mhm.
But Michigan's still like an okay team. They're gonna make the tournament, I think. They're on the bubble with Oklahoma.
I also think Hunter Dickinson is just not, he's not first
not that guy.
10. Yeah, he's
They're
not
not that
first
guy.
team all Big Ten type guy
No.
right now. Yeah.
No, Hunter Dickinson's great when he sets screens and rolls with the basket, and you have a bunch of shooters around him, and Franz Wagner and Isaiah Livers, and then he gets wide open, and you just dump it down to him, and he can dunk it. But now when it's like, Hunter, you're the best player, we need you to carry us. He's like, what?
He's like,
Where's
no.
Franz?
Yeah. Where's Shawnee
Franz
Brown?
back?
Yeah.
Where's Shawnee Brown? UCLA, I'm putting on the bad surprise list. UCLA got preseason #1 votes, dude. Preseason #1 votes. This was a team that we thought would be #1 for at least a few weeks this season, right? And
I'm so
there,
hurt. I'm so hurt.
UCLA season, I reverse engineered it, Tate, and it all was clear as day to me as when everything went downhill. Is when what's his name spit at the Arizona fans. It's Spitgate. Spitgate happened, and ever since then, UCLA the wheels have fallen off.
Yeah, Mac
Etienne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I was shown a clip, and he did spit.
He did?
Yeah, someone was so mad at me that I was saying that I didn't see liquid, and this guy was an Arizona fan. He like literally tweets me the video, and it's like breaking it down. And I saw it that time,
Frame by frame.
Yeah, I was like, thanks, man. I just didn't see it live. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Jim, you're proficient at Photoshop or video editing or whatever.
Oh, this is a deep.
And by that I mean, Jim, you're really good at like taking someone's head and putting it on a video of
Mhm.
someone else's body. How
I've
easy
invented
would it be to deep fake spit into a video?
Really easy. I could do that in like 10 seconds.
There you go. There you go.
So I didn't see any spit.
There you go.
So I go back to my original point. I think he was framed.
The only other note I had on the season is that we called a St. John's game, and I think that's very important to never forget that.
Yeah,
we
never
called-
forget that.
And
Never
I said,
forget that.
And I said many times over that St. John's is a tournament team. We got to get these boys in the tournament, and St. John's, not only not an NCAA tournament team, I don't think they're an NIT team. They are very bad.
I think, and I hope you clip this out. I think St. John's is going to win the Big East tournament.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Clip that
Clip
for
that.
sure.
Clip
Mark
that,
that
Jim.
down.
I think that's my big pick, my big bet.
They could.
No, they're perfect.
What
for it.
is St. John's? If St. John's won this year, would that be more or less crazy than Georgetown winning it last year?
It'd be less crazy.
I think it would be less crazy.
Yeah. That's why I think
It
it's
would be.
possible. And also, I think Champagne's going to go crazy in the Garden. I think it's going to be a Julian Champagne show, and everyone's going to be like, dude, This guy, are we talking Kimball Walker status here? This guy's unbelievable. And then they go to the tournament and lose in the first.
They lose in the first, yeah, the 12-5.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
are
What
the
Georgetown
12.
did.
Well, that's what. Yeah, Georgetown was the 12.
Yeah.
But they played Colorado, right?
Yeah.
And that was 12-5 upset special. And
That's what everyone
was like,
saw.
Dude, yeah, everyone's like, oh my god,
Georgetown.
yeah.
They're like, we did not see that. We're happy to be here.
Has Georgetown won a game since winning the Big East tournament?
No.
I don't think they
Check
won
the
a single
stats.
game.
They have not won a game.
They've not won a single game.
But I think it bought.
Did they beat Syracuse?
Yeah, probably.
They beat
I think it bought Ewing 3 to 5 more years though. That one Big East tournament run, which I
Last
like
year?
that. I do like
Oh,
that.
dude.
I do.
They got to have the tough conversation this offseason.
What-
I think they hire. I genuinely believe this. So they hired. So John Thompson was the coach. Then what was Esherick was his assistant because the coach for a second. And then they bring in John Thompson's son.
JT3, yeah.
Yeah. And then when he's not the guy, they go to Patrick Ewing because they want to keep it in the family.
Yeah.
You realize that Patrick Ewing Jr. is a coach. He coaches basketball for a living. That's how
love it.
that's how he pays his bills. I think you fire Patrick Ewing and you hire Patrick Ewing Jr. and keep it in the family.
And Patrick Ewing does the Coach K where he's like hovering. He's like around the program.
And is there a John Thompson the fourth? Get him on staff.
Get
How
him.
do we do that?
Yeah. Keep it in the family.
What is it? How many kids? What's Matumbo's kids looking like? What's his situation? Iverson.
Let's
I
just
don't
get Iverson on
Just
staff.
get Iverson.
Are you kidding
Just
me?
hire Allen Iverson. to be
You
the
see
coach.
Iverson the other week at the Sixers game? He was just hammered. He was just having the best time. They just kept showing him on the camera, and he's like bopping around, like, and there he is, Allen Iverson. He's like having the best time. He's the best.
I love Allen Iverson. That's really all I had. That was a little crash course. I don't know if that was in depth enough. For
No, I
people,
think-
but I think that's enough. That gives you a good taste of
Yeah,
where we're at.
Yeah, UCLA really. I'm not done with them, but as you said, I mean, they are on the bad side of things. Unfortunately, we were hoping that they would be trending in the right way.
Yeah,
But last year they barely made the tournament, so we have to remember that.
yeah. So they're technically better than they were last year, but not as good as
We
what
hoped.
We had hoped. So yeah, there's that.
But
There's that.
March, everything's different in March.
This is going to be an awesome tournament for real. Like in all seriousness, this tournament is going to be crazy because, like I said, last year I think we all like there was the preamble to like what we all knew was coming. So it was like there were upsets. There the Big Ten sucked. We had a lot of fun laughing about some teams getting upset by 14 seeds and whatnot, Tate. But all of it was just
We had
fun.
some tears as well for 15 seats.
All of it was just a fun distraction. Oral Roberts, remember them? They beat Florida and Arkansas. That was a fun.
Oh, that
story.
was awesome.
We all of that was fun to talk about, but we all knew it was going to be Gonzaga, Baylor, and one of those teams. This year we don't know that. We don't know that. There's a 6 seed might win it. I don't know, man. Let me look at the 6 seeds. Where are the 6 seeds on bracket? A 6 seed's probably not going to win it. But no,
A
it's
4 seed.
a 4 seed could win it. This
Yeah.
could be a 4 seed year. Yeah. I don't know. It'll be a fun tournament.
I think it's a Kentucky year. I'm gonna put that on the record. as well.
I feel like it's a Kentucky year too. It's a Kentucky's a deep run no matter what. Like it's a Kentucky's going to the Elite Eight.
It-
feels like
they're
a
an
Kentucky
Elite Eight, and if it goes right, if
And-
they don't
and
have a
then-
Luke May situation happen, they're
Right.
gonna win the title.
Right. Yeah. I think Gonzaga's going to win it. You just have to pick Gonzaga every year at this point.
I hope, and I'm gonna knock on wood. I hope Gonzaga wins it for their sake.
I hope so too. It'd be good for college basketball.
If they don't win it, then we're in real.
But if they
Are
don't,
we
but hold
sure?
on. If Gonzaga doesn't win it, do you think there's a world? It's not going to happen this summer or anytime soon. But is there a world where they do join, like not necessarily a Pac-12, but they like figure out their conference situation and they are like, maybe this is holding us back.
I think
It's
they go.
not.
I think they go independent.
It's obviously not holding them back, but is it obvious that it's not holding them back?
I
They've
think
been to 2 Final Fours in the last 4 turns. I think independence to play.
independence to play, and then you play a hodgepodge of the alliance. So you play ACC teams, Big Ten teams, and
Great
Pac-12
idea.
teams.
So maybe I don't want Gonzaga to win. I want Gonzaga to like continue to be one of the best programs in the country, go to Final Four after Final Four after Final Four, not ever win the title, and then decide we have to get out of the West Coast Conference. We have to figure this out. We're going independent. Great idea, Tate.
And then BYU's like, we're also
and then,
independent.
everyone else,
Do you guys want to play us? They're like, no. We're
everyone's independent, and then
the NCAA explodes.
it explodes.
Oh, that's good.
Gonzaga forms a super conference with Overtime Elite and
Yeah.
Donda Academy.
It's the SEC versus that league.
All right, shoutouts, closeouts. What do you got?
Man, honestly, I just want to shout out Mike Woodson because I was watching this game tonight, and I still believe that Woody's the right guy, and I know that there might be some people that are, going back and forth at the moment, but calm down. Cooler heads will prevail.
Woody's the right guy for this reason. Mike Woodson, and I'll say it again, kind of what I said at the top, Mike Woodson was not hired to hang banner number 6 necessarily, Tate. I think that's obviously the ultimate goal for Indiana's program. I think at some point they would love to win national title number 6.
Yeah.
I don't think Mike Woodson was hired to do that. Certainly not in year 1. Mike Woodson was hired to get everyone to just calm down. It's just like, let's just cool down. Like some people want Bob Knight back. Like not really, but they're like, bring us Bob Knight disciple. Then you have idiots like me that are yelling Brad Stevens to you over and over. And the Indiana fan base was so fractured and polling in a million different directions. And I think Mike Woodson's function was to step in, say, let's all get together, let's all go forward.
Yeah.
And now we're good. And I think that was why he was hired to be the coach. And then the next guy or the next guy after that wins the national title. Because he's an old dude. He's not going to be there for the next 30 years. I think that's what it's for. And I think you're right. I think he's the right guy for that job. He is. He's gonna get it like moving forward.
Yeah.
And everyone to calm down. But nights like tonight don't help.
I think the college basketball public is Dave Chappelle, and I think that Mike Woodson is Rick James with the unity ring. You know what I mean? And he punched him in the face and was like, IU's here, unity, we're union,
yes,
we're together, we're gonna move forward as a unit. And it's not always gonna be pretty, as we saw tonight, but don't fret.
But ultimately, if you make the turn, you've already beat Purdue. If you just simply make the tournament, I think I honestly, in my heart of hearts, believe this, Tate. If Indiana makes the tournament, loses by 20 in the first round, it's a successful season. That doesn't mean it's successful always for Indiana. That doesn't mean that's the new standard in Indiana. That means that this year that was a successful season. Now next year you build on.
We build,
and you try to get better from that. So, I had one shout out. That's it. It's the haters. I wanted to shout out the haters. It is that time of year, Tate. Football is over. It is basketball season, and that is when the haters come out of the woodwork. That is when we just get bombarded with just all sorts of hate, from all sides. It's just people chiming in that they just want to. A lot of people listening to this show have not listened to a show we've done in a long time. They want to see what we're up to. They're listening to it and they're like, "These guys suck. I liked them so much better last year." Or what was the podcast they called it before this?
Yeah, I like that
before this one. It was better. So I just want to say, you guys make us better. You do. I feel the hate coming in. We process it. We talk about it as a show, and it makes us better. And without you guys, like, honestly, we would get complacent. So I do want to shout out the haters. Thank you so much. It's going to be a fun tournament. It's going to be a fun little end of the season. And we need you. We need you guys.
Yes.
We need.
Be present.
I need Villanova fans to hit me up when Villanova wins a top 10. When they do that, and I said I didn't believe in Villanova. I need the haters to because that's what keeps me going, Tate. That's what gets the juices flowing. And God, I love it. I love that.
I love the haters too, and I love sending them a message. And one last message from me. Shout out to Phil Knight, because the PKI, not the PK80, the Phil Knight Invitational is this fall, and North Carolina is going to be there, and we got to be there. We got to go to this. Yeah, Villanova is going to be there. But it's not the PK85, as a lot of people thought it would be.
It's just the PKI.
The PKI.
Is it because his birthday is 6 months after?
It's in February, and so this tournament's, and also the preseason NIT is no more, by the way. One of my favorite tournaments. Yeah. No more, and it is being replaced by the PKI, Phil Knight Invitational, starting next year.
Damn.
There you go.
That's one of the fun little nuggets from college basketball history. The PK80 that was to celebrate Phil Knight's birthday, and then we all found out like 4 months later. We're like, "Wait, happy birthday, Phil Knight? What? Wasn't his birthday?"
Yeah, and then everyone was like, "What was going on with that?" And they're like, "Well, he was releasing his book, Shoe Dog." And it's like, so it was a book release. What the hell?
This man. Capitalism. My final thought, I'm jumping on a plane in about 12 hours, Tate, to head to the southern part of these United States to watch the Daytona 500 this weekend. So I just wanted to again put out the I don't know what I'm putting out. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
My father, this was my Christmas gift to my father. It was I work at Fox now, and I was like, we're gonna flex some muscle. I'm gonna use whatever influence I have here at Fox to get the hookup at Daytona. We're going to Daytona. If you're going to Daytona, hit me up. Let's figure it out. It's sold out, Tate. Daytona 500 is back.
I'm looking
it's
up the
gonna
odds right now because I wanted to see like who's supposed to win this.
I need drivers. I need guys to cheer for. I need more than one.
Oh,
I need
got
multiple
you.
drivers
I
because
got you.
you know, you guys know how I do on the show. Like I obviously cheer for the Buckeyes and I want Ohio State to be good, but I also have an affinity for Indiana. And then I start like picking up other teams along the way. Like Arizona's a team I'm going to cheer for this year. I want to do that with races. I'm a bandwagon guy. I need like seven horses to bet on. So I gotta figure that out.
Denny Hamlin's the favorite at plus 850. Chase Elliott plus 1,000. Kyle Larson plus 1,100. Ryan Blaney plus 1,200. Joey Logano plus 1,200. Brad Keselowski. I like Keselowski.
You like Keselowski?
I've always liked Keselowski. He's just funny to me.
Who drives does Coors Light sponsor the car?
Of Keselowski's?
No,
He's Miller Lite.
He was
right?
Miller Lite. Yeah, we don't like Miller Lite on
Yeah,
the show.
yeah,
So
we're Coors Light.
We're Coors Light guys. But Sterling Marlin drove the 40.
Yeah.
Coors Light 40 back in the day. I don't
back in
know.
the day.
Yeah.
I like Ty Dillon, too.
I'm definitely going. Whoever drives Coors Light, that's my guy. Yeah. But anyway, Daytona 500. So
Greg Biffle plus 4,000.
well, I'm doing a show from Daytona, so that'll be fun. The next
You
show
are?
we do. Yeah, we're gonna do one for.
Oh, that's right.
Thursday or Friday, I'll be in Daytona.
I said that to you like I was.
Yeah.
Yes, we will be doing a show when you're there. Yeah.
Anyway, anything else? Jim, you got anything? You want to shout anybody out?
No, that's it.
All right, that's it. See you guys. Thanks to everybody watching on YouTube, and if you're listening, we are live every Tuesday. So maybe next time you could watch us. And
I'm back.
That's that. So see you guys.
Good job.
Cool. That was fun.
All right. I forwarded these ads. One of them is a Dell Spot, Jim, that's in the email, by the way.
It's attached.
Yeah, it's attached.